Good Tuesday morning, guys. Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk. This is an insider's guide to real estate life and the pursuit of happiness. We're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network, live on Facebook, Instagram, and frankly, every social media platform known to mankind. Thank you for joining us on today's broadcast. If you'd like to share perspective on Instagram or on Facebook, put the comments in the feed, and we'll relay that perspective on air to the distinguished gentleman himself, Judah Wickhauer. Let's go to the studio camera, and let's welcome Keith Smith to the show. Good morning, Keith. How are you?
What we do 2 times a week for approximately 3 hours, always amazes me. Before we even started, we got questions already.
Yeah. More questions coming in on
amazing.
Instagram right here. We will get to those in a matter of moments. One of the questions that came in on Instagram was, what can we do to keep Charlottesville affordable for the folks that need it to be affordable? And you already offered a perspective before the show started, Keith.
Yeah, so as those who watch the show know, I chair the 2 things, actually. I chair the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust, which exciting news is we're in the process of almost wrapping up our merger between us and Piedmont Housing Alliance, which will give us the opportunity, basically we'll become a behemoth in the affordable housing space here. So, excuse me, coffee caught up with me there for a moment. And the Regional Housing Partnership I chair, which is we specifically talk about that. So whoever was the gentleman that chimed in, if he wishes to reach to me offline, we can provide some links and some great avenues that we can help out for affordable housing because it's needed.
More questions coming in. Everyone's doing well here.
Thank you.
In fact, Gonza on Instagram said, what can Charlottesville do to help low-income families afford to live in Charlottesville? The land trust model is certainly one of the our personal favorites on the show.
I'm a little bit slighted to it.
As you should be. You're working hard there.
Yeah, for our Nassau, and this is not about me, but the team. We put in for our Nassau Street project, which is truly net zero. So the folks that are buying those homes will not have any electrical bill at all. I just personally put almost 3,000 hours of my time in that over a couple of years. That's
fantastic. Anja Andalik, welcome from FIG on the UVA corner. We love when you watch the show.
Hey.
Many watching here on Instagram.
FIG.
Me too. FIG's great.
Love it.
Food is good, the acronym FIG. You guys do it right. I missed the Balkan Bistro. I met you guys at the farmer's market. Families, A+ people.
My wife was, even though she's Austrian, was born in Beirut, and we love Mediterranean food.
Very nice. Very nice. So, my friend, a weekend that was, we had the Parade of Homes. We have a lot to cover. Where would you like to start?
Yeah, I need you to be a little patient with me. I'm still wore out from the drive up to Connecticut and the drive back that we got back late yesterday afternoon or evening on it. So I need a little bit of caffeine to kick in and kind of get me going here. But I listened to the show on the way down from your show. And
the show.
The show.
Yeah.
Or a show.
I mean, it's the flagship show of the network.
It is the show.
Yeah.
So an update. I got some perspective I want to offer on this closing of indoor
I think
dining.
We've used our influence to push Mayor Walker down from that.
Good.
She said yesterday, I've heard, and we're going to pump the brakes. So the influence, the reach of the network really, lack of better phrase, influenced the mayor's decision-making.
Well, so I want to be a little clear about this. The mayor doesn't make these decisions. The 5 council members do. And we have not adopted, or that I'm pretty much wired into this. We do not have a strong mayor.
The tough aspect of that is Michael Payne was on Mayor Walker's election committee.
Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm.
So he has not voted really opposite of her in anything. Cena also was voting with the company and party line.
Sure.
So as one person is going, at least in the, October, in the 9 months and change, that's how the votes are going.
Yeah, and so I've been involved in this world from this side of the table for over 3 decades, right? So I understand how these jurisdictions work. I work in them. I've been on the Thomas Jefferson Planning District Commission for 10 years. I'm believe, if not the oldest sitting member, the very close to the second oldest sitting member. And I got in the 10 years, I get to see elected officials roll in and out of there. I printed, just in preparation for today, the Charlottesville City Council Vision of 2025, and the first item was economic sustainability.
Yeah, right.
So what was being proposed, even though we're in a unique crisis for sure, was not doing economic sustainability.
Yeah, and we now have 6 restaurateurs watching on Instagram. Yeah. We have, looks like 14 on, now 16 on Facebook. So, wow, I just got an email from Mayor Walker in my inbox, literally 2 minutes ago. She just emailed me.
You should read that.
Well, let me read it first before I read it in front of a lot of people on the program. Literally just got this email 2 minutes ago, Judah. All right, so this is pretty much the nitty-gritty, and what compounds the situation is Albemarle County has been offering grant money to many of these small and medium-sized businesses that are in restaurants, breweries, wineries in the F&B category, and that grant money was utilized for outdoor tenting, or can be utilized for outdoor tents, cooling and heating those outdoor tents. So the county is going what appears to be above and beyond for these small and medium-sized businesses, where Charlottesville, not only the mayor is talking about outlawing, banning indoor dining, but also City Hall has put a drop-dead deadline of October 30th for all café taxes that are due. And the restaurants are straight up saying, we don't have the money for the cafe taxes because we use the money to keep our lights on, our rent on, and to pay our employees and allow them to return back to work. So if the cafe taxes are also due on October 30th, which I think there's a pushback on that, I would expect that's going to be a hurdle we're going to need to clear between now and 10:30.
4th sentence down. The downtown mall, comma, as the economic hub of the region.
It's the heartbeat. Yeah.
So I think what I wanted to kick off was more from a practitioner's perspective, that, as much as Mayor Walker does not have the authority to unilaterally make decisions, period.
Sure.
End of story.
Yeah.
Now, I'm glad to hear, because I didn't watch the city council meeting last night, that there should be some reversal of her position on that. Hopefully that's the case. And even more hopefully is the case that buried in that email is she wishes to sit down and actually have a conversation.
Yeah, and I've invited her on the show many times. She has a free pass to come on when she wants. Yeah. It's a lengthy email. I'm on paragraph 1. I mean, I think it caught many off guard.
So I just came from Connecticut. And Connecticut, it's fair to say, is ground zero for COVID.
Sure. We
went out to dinner twice, indoor dining. It was done right, 50% capacity. As soon as you walked in the door, if you didn't have a mask, you were handed a mask. It was very clearly outlined what the expectations were, and if you didn't, you were asked to leave. I think we need to give credit to the business owners, to the individuals, that they'll do the right thing.
Right.
When it gets to that point.
100% agree. That's all I think anyone's asking, right?
But, there's 4 other votes on that city council. And I know your position, right? I understand that. I work in it for decades, as a Marine in the city of Charlottesville. All I have to do is count to 3. I can handle 3, right? But, the reality of it is, Lloyd, Michael, Sienna, all these, and Heather, hopefully the influence that you had on the show yesterday kind of influenced that change of heart in that. Otherwise, it's going to drive more businesses out of the city into the county.
We're going to have Daniel Kaufman, the owner of Public Fish and Oyster, on my show. Also, potentially Elena Mangione from Mangione's to talk about this. I agree, man. I think it's a very precarious position, certainly as we head into winter, with outside seating not really a reality.
I didn't want to eat up a lot of time. I'm sure you're going to cover this on the noon show in great depth, but I wanted to offer my personal perspective on this. And I think I'll make one personal comment. You know, I typically stay away from politics
Sure.
on my time with you here, but I can speak from a very personal experience with Mayor Walker. Mayor Walker was on the Thomas Jefferson Planning District Commission, and I would just say the most frustrating part of it is she would not engage in a conversation. So for those who have never actually attended one or watched one on via Zoom, particularly at the back end of the commission, we do a roundtable. So just to keep in mind, there's 2 elected officials from all 6 jurisdictions on the commission, and they got little old me on there as an appointed official. And what we do at the back end of it is so darn fruitful, is we do a roundtable, and Jerry, Albemarle County, talks about what's going on in Albemarle County, and then Michael Payne, which he is now replacing Mayor Walker on the Thomas Jefferson Planning District Commission, will engage and say, hey, you know, ask questions of it. And it's an extremely cross-table discussion. I announced last commission meeting last week about our merger we're working on with PH, and Michael Payne jumped all in. That was extremely excited about it. How can we work? Other jurisdictions jumped in on it. How can we work to kind of grow this affordable housing footprint outside the city of Charlottesville? So my own personal, just from a personal contact, I wish she would engage, and she doesn't. And it's a shame, because that's what our first role should be, is engage. So anyway, that's my soapbox on that.
I couldn't agree with you more. I see the official Charlottesville Facebook account watching the show, so that means someone tuning in from City Hall on the broadcast as we speak.
My hope is that what's happening with this and with your leadership and what's going on out there, that she reverses that decision.
I think absolutely has.
Good.
Everything we talked about yesterday got picked up by both TV stations.
Sure.
And she did a lot of backtracking and double talk yesterday on City Council.
Well, we all make mistakes, but she needs to engage.
Yeah,
And
Olivia Branch, the community needs to understand that affordable housing is allowing teachers, firefighters, police, hospital staff, and others to live within the communities they serve and work. The negative stigma is not true of who needs and qualifies for affordable housing. Olivia Branch left that comment.
So, Olivia, you could not be more spot on. I actually preferred the term workforce housing over affordable housing. And if you take a look at the 4 homes we sold on Nassau Street, every single one of them were either teachers, they worked in the restaurant business, they all lived in Charlottesville. They were all of different family sizes, ethnicities. It was great, and they lived next to a house that is $100,000 to $150,000 more expensive, and they can. The great thing about the land trust is what it does is it equalizes the playing field. It really stops this, in my opinion, gentrification, and it kind of gets this mixed income, mixed different diversity, and that's the key word, diversity. So thank you for trying.
More comments coming in. This is from Chris, who's watching in North Downtown. He's also an attorney. He says, Jerry, I watched your show yesterday. I'm glad you brought this up with Keith. You were spot on with your commentary. I also agree she started backtracking on City Council yesterday, most notably after making and hearing some of the points you made on your show. Thank you for standing up for the community, per usual, on this network. We appreciate you. Neil Williamson is sharing perspective on the program. You now have the Daily Progress, the CVille Weekly, and CBS 19 watching the program, along with the official Charlottesville City Facebook page watching the show. Neil Williamson sent a link on how housing Albemarle could reduce housing affordability. This is from the Free Enterprise Forum. Neil, we encourage you to come on this program. That would be an easier way to explain the links you share on the show.
So I'm going to give a shout out to Neil.
Please.
Neil does, frankly, I got an email from Neil thanking for everything, what we're doing and contributing into it. He used the ABC, always be closing tagline in the email.
Very nice.
But this is a self-funded organization, so I'm going to drop a link in there. My wife and I are going to donate to the Freedom Enterprise Forum.
I mean, really what you should do is you should encourage him to allow the flex, the muscle and influence of the I Love CVille Network, just like we did with the fireworks, to drive revenue to the Free Enterprise Forum.
I literally just wrote that down.
Yeah,
Our chemistry is starting already.
Marquez Johnson has a message for Olivia Branch. Olivia, why are some of my Albemarle County fire and rescue friends living outside the county then?
Great, because they can't afford Charlottesville.
Right.
That's the bottom line. But the PD and the FD, they have some great programs where they can subsidize that. So I believe there's some down payment assistance programs with that and that end of it. But yeah, unfortunately, you get to your drive till you qualify on that end of it. And we're going to get into the Parade of Homes here a little bit, and then I want to talk about a little bit of why you should use a realtor in new construction. But as we're learning. At least I'm learning. You know this because you're an expert at this. These shows tend to take their own lives based on the comments. So I'm willing to take the show any way that folks that are watching it which direction to go. But I just wanted to, elections matter first and foremost, and it's not just one person making this decision. It's 5 that does that. So reach out, watch your show. Reach out and talk to each one of the city councilors, send them an email, tell them how you feel, and they'll listen.
We give some love to Interstate Pest and Service Companies and Roy Wheeler Realty Company.
Yeah, so, the man, the myth, the legend, Michael Guthrie, couldn't do this without him. And then Interstate Pest and Service, we're going to talk about new construction in a little while. But one of the things that they do is, if there happens to be a new construction, God forbid, there's a positive radon test, they can help you with that or some other stuff growing. So they're great and everything. We use the heck out of them. We talked about this last week, that go ahead and get them to come in and take a look at your home before you list it.
It looks like 2 counselors and the deputy city attorney outside the studio as we speak right now. Hello, guys. Parade of Homes, Keith Smith, on your mind.
Yeah. Should I wear a bulletproof vest?
I mean, I deal with this every day. Literally.
There you
I
go.
speak freely every day,
There you
and
go.
they're right there constantly.
There you go. So anyway, I always preach from a positive perspective. These folks are trying to do the best they can. They could be guided one way or the other. And you need to be involved in that discussion. Be involved in guiding. That's something what Neil does. That's something that. I mean,
that's really why I want to get civically engaged.
Sure.
And
You're going to run for office.
I will, undoubtedly. No doubt in my mind, I'm going to make that happen.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt in my mind.
We'll talk about that off air.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about that often on the show. There's no doubt in my mind I'm going to do that. James Watson,
Hey, James.
chairman of the Civilian Review Board, watching the show. I mean, it seems like we have many influencers and people of interest and note watching the program as we speak right now.
Yeah, and I'm wiggling my chair a little bit here. And as those who watch the show, James has the misfortune of being my brother-in-law also. So.
We now have the Albemarle County Instagram watching us on
There
Instagram
you go.
Live, Keith Smith.
Yeah, so should we talk about the Parade of Homes, or do you want to keep on going on this subject?
Your show, your topic. Where would you like to go?
Well,
I can adapt to anything.
I know that. That's. I'm learning. I'm trying to get better at that. So let's just talk a little bit about the Parade of Homes.
Let's do it.
Because this is a real estate show, and we'll turn around and get back to that. I just keep on thinking. This is not 1. This is 5. Right. Reach out to the other city council members. You have influence. Everybody who's listening.
How do you suggest you use the influence? And more questions are coming in here.
Yeah.
That we need to relay on
Okay.
air. Do you suggest you use that influence with an email, a phone call?
Well, in COVID world, it's a little bit difficult. I've always subscribed to actually reaching out to them face to face if you can do it. If you can figure out where they are and sit down and have a conversation with them. My Rolodex is a little bit differently than most people's Rolodexes. I can get a text, get a phone call, and have a conversation just because of my 30 years of experience and the boards and the commissions I sit on. But whatever works best for Jerry Miller, whatever works best for Judah, that's how you want to reach out to them, right? And just constantly doing it, reach out to them. And sometimes if you don't have a personal connection with one of the city council members or board of supervisors, figure out a way into that personal connection, right? You know somebody who knows somebody knows somebody. What is that? 6 degree separation of Kevin Bacon or whatever. Yeah. So that's what I would do personally. I just bumped into Lloyd Snook walking in the hall before the show, and
Lloyd's law firm is 25 feet down the hall from our studio.
Yeah,
I see him every day.
Miller said, Smith, use the head.
I literally see him every day. 20. Would you say that's 25 feet, probably?
Oh, if it's that.
If 25 feet?
If it's that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I started off with, thank you for what you're doing, right? Always start off on a positive. If you show up to somebody, start yelling at them.
Yeah, it's not going to go over well.
You're going to get yelling back. I said, thank you, Lloyd, for what you're doing. Thank you for your time. Wow, you put a late night in last night, so forth and so on. And then he started talking to me, and we had a 2 or 3 minute conversation in the hallway. I kind of expressed some of my opinions on it. He said, thank you, and he walked away. That's how I do it. That doesn't mean it's the right way. Right? It doesn't mean it doesn't work for everybody, but I know this much. You'll catch a whole bunch more with honey than with shit.
That's true.
And so, if you try to be respectful for the other person's opinion and have a conversation, and I will tell you, and I just keep on going back to Mayor Walker, I've been able to do this with almost every single elected official for 30 years. Been able to at least develop a personal connection and have a conversation because I had to in my line of work.
Well, and you're a friendly guy.
I've never been able to do that with Mayor Walker.
What are your take? What are your perspectives? Marquise, what's your perspective, sir, on this topic? Olivia Branch, what's your perspective on this topic? Neil Williamson, what are your thoughts on what's happening? James Watson, Barbara Lundgren, Christopher Eagle, 5 real estate firms watching the show. CVille Weekly just chimed in. You now have 3 individual media outlets watching you here. You have the City of Charlottesville Facebook page watching right now. Albemarle County is watching on Instagram. You have the movers and shakers watching the show as we speak.
I've got a meeting. I got to go.
No, you got plenty to offer. Marquise Johnson, I didn't say Charlottesville. Y'all were talking about Albemarle County affordable housing. I didn't say my friends at Charlottesville Fire. Albemarle County Fire and Rescue pay staff more in salary than the Charlottesville Fire Department. They should already qualify for affordable housing. I don't want to speak for the distinguished gentleman, but I want to say this and then pass the baton to you. I would love to live in a world where the police, the fire, the rescue, the nurses, the frontline workers that serve the community can live in the community they serve. There's nothing that would be more special to me than to have that happen in Charlottesville. Is that
so? I get
safe?
it. So, first of all, I'm super blessed.
Because you're a fireman. You got fire in your pops.
My father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather.
Yeah, it's in your blood.
New York City fireman. And we come from, my family comes from a place of service. But what I was going to say is I'm super blessed because what I do for a living, and I've got a better 7/8 that really does 7/8 of everything, I'm able to put in the time that I can put in. But it's literally what that gentleman just outlined is exactly why I spend all the thousands of hours of volunteer time is to do that because I saw years ago, a decade ago, well, hold it, time out. How come the cop can't live in Charlottesville?
Right.
How come the fireman can't live in Charlottesville? How come we're having this problem? And I just set out to try to fix it, right? And in whatever way that I know how to do things, and not that we're fixing it, but man, I'll tell you what, at least 3 years since the Regional Housing Partnership was set up, since we got on the Land Trust Board, we're making some progress, and progress is, a marriage that's about ready to happen between the land trust and Piedmont Housing, which will then take this land trust model, right? This is very unique land trust model and blow it up. Right? You use those terms all the time.
Yeah.
Blow it up, right? We're going to have the capacity for revenue. We're going to have the capacity for man hours, where I'm not spending 2,800 hours of my time to build workforce housing for teachers, for cops, for firemen. Had a great conversation 2 days ago with a local builder/developer out in Crozet saying, hey, how can we get involved? I want to be part of this. So it's starting to change, right? I think, and maybe I'm just Pollyannic about it, but I really think you're starting to see this pendulum swing at least to somewhere close to a neutral market. But when we get to numbers, particularly new construction, you're not seeing that.
Great comment right here that just came in from Laura Navarez. Jerry, I love watching the shows that you guys put on. Please ask Keith this question. If they limit what small businesses can do and we're in a budget deficit, how is the money going to be made up for the budget we need to run the city and the county? It's a great question.
Chemistry and online chemistry is working.
Yeah.
If you don't think that's the question I asked Lloyd when I bumped into him, that's literally the question I asked him. And we need to be asking these questions of our elected officials, right? The reality of it is how are we going to pay for all this, right? How are we going to do this? And I understand it. I truly understand it. The balance, right? There's a balance here. And I'm not smart enough. I'm not educated enough. I just know that there's a balance here. And how do we actually achieve that? I can do what I do real well. And what I don't do real well, I get a trusted advisor, right? And that trusted advisor is Jerry, is Lloyd Snook or Michael Payne or whatever, and say, hey, look, this is my problem. How can we help and get it? The thing that we do on the Regional Housing Partnership, we bring everybody from different opinions to the table to try to address this issue. I hope we're making a difference. I'd like to think we're making a difference. I'm just going to keep on pushing. It's if James King is watching, it's a Jarhead thing.
James King, King Family Vineyards. Give us a like and or share, or drop a line in the comment section if you're watching the show.
Or Scott Morris, right? One of our sponsors. He's a Marine also.
Wow, we got a lot of comments coming in.
Oh
my gosh.
We just go ahead and adapt, improvise, adapt, and overcome. Got to say that fast, otherwise I forget it. And so that's we need to do this. But guys, we can't physically go to council meetings or board meetings anymore, but be engaged. Get out and get engaged there. Communicate. Excuse me, I got to sneeze. Communicate with, didn't come out. Communicate with somebody like Neil, who, if you can't go to these meetings, communicate with Neil. Donate to his organization, right? And have him be the spokesperson, assuming that's the way you would like your conversation to go with these city councilors. Or reach out to somebody on the Regional Housing Partnership or somebody that's engaged in these discussions on a regular basis and offer your opinion, right? Most people, they've got couple of, they're working jobs. They can't go out to the 7:00 meeting, right? And so that's where somebody like Neil is a home run for that.
Ready for some questions?
Yes, sir.
So we're going to get to these questions here in a matter of moments. You now have CBS 19, NBC 29, the CVille Weekly, and someone from WCHV watching the program.
Welcome,
along
guys.
with City Hall. This question is coming in. Do you expect real estate taxes to increase?
They're going to have to.
To make up for this deficit?
They're going to have to. Is Neil still watching?
Neil Williamson is still watching.
Yeah, so I haven't had an opportunity to research this question. And if Neil's still watching, he can chime in. I believe there's a maximum of percentage amount year over year that the actual dollar amount of taxes can increase. I may be wrong. That's going from some long-term memory cells locked in the back here. But the reality of it is, budget is going here for whatever reason, right? Tax base is here. That tax base has got to get up to here. And how do they do that? Most jurisdictions in our area don't really hit that sweet spot of 30% coming from business taxes and the balance coming from residential. Most jurisdictions, and again, Neil's just an expert on all this stuff. He can correct me if I'm wrong. Most jurisdictions are in the 80s or the 90% range, if not more, coming from residential property taxes. So what they'll do is they'll set a budget. They'll set a budget. Then what they'll do is they'll have, depending on which jurisdiction, they kind of redo their tax assessed values, some every year, some every 2 years, so forth and so on. But they'll set that tax assessment value, and then they'll adjust the rate to make this zero. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So the bottom line is it's got to go up.
6 real estate firms watching the program, 3 current or former CAR presidents on the broadcast. Michael Guthrie, welcome to the
Michael.
show. The program has become the quintessential resource for real estate in the community, and we see that by more comments coming in. Let me relay these to you.
It just amazes me. I'm so honored.
You
and
have
flattered.
Richmond, Arlington, McLean, and now Charlotte, North Carolina watching the program. Olivia Brant, Jerry, unless I've walked in the counselor's shoes, I cannot comment or judge their decisions.
Sure.
It is our job to ensure they have the right information and the knowledge needed so they can make the right decisions. Education
Well,
is
just
key.
think about it. Let's think about it. Let's take a look at the 5 city council members. What were they doing before they were city council members? They have other lives. They have other jobs.
Let's see. Michael was working for Habitat
Well,
for Humanity.
he's still. So first of all, they still do that.
Yeah, he's not with Habitat anymore.
No, okay, but he's
Yeah.
still in the affordable.
He's now
housing.
working kind of like a night shift at a shelter, overnights.
The point I'm making is they're not professional politicians.
Right,
They all
right,
have
right.
jobs. This is not their primary jobs. Lloyd's an attorney. Michael's working. I didn't know that about the shelter.
Yeah.
Sienna, excuse me. Isn't she still like?
I believe she's a counselor in the therapist
Social
category. I don't know what Heather does professionally.
She's an engineer. That
Yeah,
I know.
Is she practicing engineer?
Oh,
A
yes.
9 to.
I believe she is, but I may be wrong.
Lloyd's an attorney, and the mayor was part-time in Parks and Rec. So Michael's giving love to Neil Williamson and saying, yes, support the Free Enterprise Forum.
Michael, could you drop in into the feed the donate button on that, please? I'd appreciate that.
More comments coming in. I'm going to get to James Watson.
I want to hear what my brother-in-law has
We
to say.
have 3 or 4 city executives right now. All right, so James Watson, we're going to get to you here in a matter of moments.
Invite him in. Let's have a conversation.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get James in the mix here. So James Watson, who we have a lot of respect for on this program, leaves a comment on the show. And first, Michael's highlighting NIMBY versus YIMBY.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to talk about that.
Not in my. Okay, you want to go down that road as I get James in the mix here?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because NIMBY, right? N means not, Y means yes, right? In my backyard, and it's really interesting because as whoever watched the show, Portland's just adopted this new RAP, residential infill program, and yes, they need to change the acronym. But what they're able to do is they're able to, on a single-family detached lot, build up to 6 residential units. Now, there's a bunch of criteria and requirements, and they got rid of on-site parking and a bunch of different things. But the reality of it is, now, one thinks of Portland, thinks rather progressive, right? And they actually is the birthplace of this YIMBYism. And what they've done is because of the progressives and the activists in Portland, they pushed this through. So the yes in my backyard, so they actually flipped the whole mentality of, yes, we want to do this. We want land trust models. We want all these different models in here to increase our density without going vertical, right? Typically, you're not doing vertical on that end of it.
James Watson on the yes in my backyard versus the not in my backyard. Welcome, Mary, to Instagram Live. Sunny And Rabinos, welcome to Instagram Live. Instagram, if you have a question, just put it there and I'll relay it to the distinguished gentleman. James Watson says, a few months back, a developer put forth a project with 50 affordable units in Albemarle County's urban ring, and I, along with Matthew Gillikin, spoke in favor of them building this project before Board of Supervisors to help teachers, police, and fire, but folks in the neighboring subdivisions kept saying they didn't want it in their backyard. They complained about traffic. James, if memory serves correct, and James Watson, please correct me if I'm wrong, much resistance from the Dunlora neighborhood on that project. I believe it was Nicole Scro's project there, but correct me if I'm wrong on that. Your thoughts on what...
I don't believe it was Nicole's.
It was not?
It was not Nicole's,
Okay.
but she does some awesome work, by the way.
So it was Dunlora that was offering the resistance.
She just got a project approved in, exactly right, in Crozet, which was pretty exciting if you have an opportunity to look it up. Look...
More comments coming in.
So
Keep going. This is fire.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, and again, to quote one of the other folks that chimed in, it's unless you've been through one of these processes and understand how it is to sit in that seat of City Council or Board of Supervisors, it's really hard to Monday morning quarterback their decisions. So what I'm about to say is not about that. The problem with that project is now, and where I think it's an education process, and maybe the developer did not do a fair enough job educating the city councilors or the board of supervisors, and the folks at Dunlora. What they're going to get now is a by right subdivision.
Right.
And here's the problem with that. The problem with that is now there's no oversight. I mean, there's oversight, there's zoning ordinances, right, and site plan ordinances and all that fun stuff. But through the rezoning process, there's compromises that can be made that would benefit the community as a whole. At the end of the day, the owner of the property is going to make the same, if not the same amount of money or more, in turning it into a bunch of single-family detached homes and or duplexes homes instead of something that was a little bit more...
And probably work less, not as hard.
Oh,
exponentially easier.
By multiple times.
Right.
No, as I call it, brain damage. No brain damage. But instead, and again, I wasn't in the weeds on that thing, and James surely was, so he can chime in and tell me if I'm wrong. But the reality of it is, we now have the potential of having a by right subdivision, whatever that is over there, because I haven't studied the zoning clearly over there. I mean, the land trust is, we haven't submitted the application yet. We had some pre-application meetings, but we're trying to do a 6-unit project on 10th and West by Dairy Central, one of our wonderful sponsors.
Yeah, Chris Henry.
And they're freaking awesome to work with. They're part of this whole process and engaging. And I will tell you, a shout out to the city. They're all over it. They saw the vision. They wanted, the city planners, that is, the staff, that they wanted to go and do this. Now, would we be able to get this up past the city council? That's a different story. But
it comes down to perfect is the enemy of good.
Yeah, so, this particular project, if we can do it the way we want to do it, there won't be any on-site. It removes the on-site parking requirements, which is 2 cars, by the way.
Right.
Which is
That's ridiculous.
It's just stupid.
Right?
I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have said that.
No, it is.
It's not smart, right? So we're trying to, and it's going to require this huge ZTA, zoning text amendment to their, but we're in a position, the land trust is in a position that we can run this rock uphill. Right? A private developer won't do that because the ROI isn't there, where we don't necessarily have that ROI to worry about.
So tons of comments coming in. Can I fire these at you?
Yes, sir.
In ridiculous engagement.
Yeah.
Right? It's happening right now. Neil Williamson and Instagram. We're going to get to your comments and questions
I guess on Friday
here.
we'll talk about new construction.
Neil Williamson says, Keith, I am unaware of any legislative restrictions on real estate tax increases.
Got it.
However, localities must disclose what property tax would be required to generate the same amount of revenue as the previous year prior to adapting a new budget.
That's exactly right.
There clearly is a political restriction on the percentage increase.
Got it. So there's not an actual restriction, but there's a perceived restriction because obviously if you raise taxes...
People would lose their SHIT.
Well, they would...
They would raise a ruckus.
we started earlier, or we spoke earlier, elections have consequences. So
Yeah.
you would get
Elections have consequences. Thank you.
You would get voted out.
Right. Neil Williamson proceeds to share, and Michael Guthrie shared the link for donating to the Free Enterprise
Please
Forum.
do that. Neil's a home run of a person. Some people may listen to what he has to say or doesn't, but he's out there doing it every day, and you need to support him.
I absolutely agree. Ray Cadell, in all fairness, when people buy a home and surrounding zoning is in place, it's reasonable to expect that any rezoning or special use permits should be looked at very seriously and definitely include input from neighbors. On the flip side, by right is by right, and the landowner is entitled to those rights.
So spot on, Ray. I'm not suggesting a shortcut system whatsoever. If you buy a piece of property next to an R1, residential one, and somebody wants to rezone it to R3, there is a statutory requirements. You must notify the adjoining property owners. Here's the deal. It's how you do that. It's how you engage it. And if you take a look at the most successful rezonings, it's engaged in a very personal, very in-depth way with the surrounding property owners. Listen to their concerns. Listen to their interests. Try to work it in if you can, right? But by statutory requirements, actually what happens is a letter gets sent out. That's not what you need to do. You need to knock on their doors. Oh, by the way, the Batman and Robin suit came in on Monday.
Fantastic. I cannot wait to wear that
Halloween
Robin
would be a
outfit
great
on the
day to
show.
knock on the door.
For what it's worth, from Neil, due to the virtual nature of the BOS Board of Supervisors meetings, the applicant knew they were facing a 3-3 tie, and the applicant has deferred a vote on their rezoning. I believe that's is that in regards to Parkway Place?
Did they actually I don't think they got the deferral. I think they got the rejection.
That's a question, Neil.
I may be mixing up the Tiger Fuel.
James, it was Parkway Place at Rio and John Warner. Even the family who has owned that farm and property for over 100 years is concerned that it goes to the right. It goes to the right developer, and it allows for. I'm not sure what you're saying here in this comment here. He says, "I can sit in traffic for 15 more seconds for a family or a civil servant to have a home."
So what he's saying is the seller. And as a recovering developer, I would hear this all the time. Believe it or not, most property sellers want to be engaged in one way or the other. So what he's saying is the property owner wants to sell it to somebody like the Land Trust or some developer or PH, some developer or Chris Henry that is going to get it, right? That is going to provide a good project, because at the end of the day, their family name is on this.
Agents from Long and Foster, Nest, Real Estate 3, Roy Wheeler, watching the broadcast as we speak. Barbara says, perhaps if we weren't 40 years behind on our roadways, we wouldn't have so much issue with NIMBYism versus traffic.
Barbara, great comment. I'll tell you though, I was up in Connecticut and took a bike ride for twice, and it scared the living you-know-what out of me because there's so disconnected bike. It was a horrible experience, and probably shouldn't be saying this with my wife listening, but when you've got to cross around or under 95, that's not a smart move. On the flip side, as soon as this show's over, I'm going to do my bike ride for the day. We have some great, intermodal infrastructure. Is it perfect? No. Can it get better? Absolutely. But it was funny. When I was riding my bike up in Connecticut, I was thinking, boy, I'm lucky to be living in Charlottesville in this region, because I can do that and not get creamed by a semi.
I love it. Parkway Place, Neil says, deferred. Tiger Fuel was denied.
Got it. Thank you, Neil.
We will be talking with the Tiger Fuel team on Friday on our show, in part this topic. More comments coming in here. Good night. Keith, how do we make up the budget deficit for fiscal year 2021 and looks like 2022? You have the experience. How would you go about doing it? That's been asked twice now on the feed.
Well, the first thing you would need to do is be engaged. That was literally the conversation I had with Lloyd. Mm-hmm. what is 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025 going to look like? At the end of the day, the city of Charlottesville, Albemarle County, they're businesses, right? They're businesses. Their revenue just happens to be taxes and whatever amount of money they may get from the state or they get from the feds. So, what do you do if your business is kind of the restaurant owners and stuff like this? When you hit this wall, well, the first thing most people do is start looking at their expenses, right? So the difference between a governmental body and, let's say, the I Love Charlottesville or Yonna and Smith's, the S-Team Realtors, we can always try to figure out a way to raise more capital, get more creative, raise more capital. The local governments don't have that. They can't get creative, right? And do that. So at the end of the day, they're going to look at cutting expenses, which means services, which is going to make everybody upset.
Minimizing raises.
Minimize raises.
If not, strike raises.
So as far as I'm concerned, expenses are everything that's on the table.
In that category.
And then they're going to have to look at raising taxes, right? So they're going to play this game. They're going to play this. And by the way, Neil knows this because he does this every year. But those political junkies like myself that watch this for 30 years, it happens every year. This conversation happens every freaking year. Services, expenses, taxes, assessed value. In certain counties like Fluvanna County, it took, and Neil will check in, it took over 30 years, because I was part of it, to get water to Zion's Crossroads. And that whole conversation for 30 years to get water to Zion's Crossroads was grow my tax base, grow my tax base, grow my tax base, which is the commercial end of it, the business end of it. So the first thing is they're probably going to have a stopgap is looking at services, looking at raising taxes. The long-term game has to be increasing the economic vitality of the area, right? City of Charlottesville. First, 2025, economic sustainability. That's called economic growth.
Do you want me to read the email from the mayor?
It's your boss.
We don't have to.
It looks like I'm not going to get to before you do that.
I mean, you came in here saying we're going to go with what the feed tells us to do.
I got it.
That was what you said.
Yes, Robin.
Yeah, you did say that.
But before you do that, before you read that, because I'm sure that's going to go in a different direction.
Sure.
I do want to do a shout out to the Blue Ridge Home Builders Association.
Yes.
Right. Please, 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 if you haven't gone out to see the Parade of Homes last weekend, please do it this weekend. We'll bury the link in the feed. They're doing a really awesome thing this year. I think they started it last year, but they're really doing it heavy this year. Each one of the houses you can see virtually, right? So they've got Matterports. We talked about this on Friday. Matterports. If you really want to understand the value of a Matterport, dig into this website, take a look at. And there's a couple of houses that just have virtual tours instead of virtual and in person. But go out. It's beautiful. Hopefully a beautiful weekend. When we were building, we put a lot of heart and soul into these Parade of Homes, and every one of these builders have put their heart and soul into that. Go take a look at it. You'll learn. If you're not even ready to build, you get a lot of creative inspiration. It's beautiful. I'm going to do it this weekend. We were up in Connecticut.
We did it this past weekend.
Yeah.
It was
How
awesome.
was it? Good?
It was absolutely awesome, yeah. Let's see here.
So I want to read that email?
You want me to?
Yeah.
All right, so this is from the mayor in my inbox. Mayor Kyle Walker in my inbox.
Hit the high points.
You want me to hit the high points? You want me to summarize? It's like 6 paragraphs.
If you want to read it, you can read it. It's emailed to you. You handle it however you want to handle it.
All right.
I'm in with you.
Let's see here. All right, here's the high point paragraph. Good morning. Your synopsis of Dr. Bond's comments are disingenuous. Council meetings are recorded, and I would encourage all of you to review the meeting. Please review the link below to hear Dr. Bond's comments that begin at the 11:20 mark. If you don't have time to review her entire presentation, there is a discussion about indoor dining at restaurants at the 33:37 mark. There is also a good discussion regarding masks at the 21:21 mark that relates to this conversation because masks have to be removed to consume food, especially inside. In order for people to dine inside establishments, they have to sit at tables and remove their mask. There have been quite a few restaurant transmissions in the area amongst employees of various restaurants. Unlike Mr. Bond's last email, unlike the last email response suggests, some grammatical errors there. It is the duty of government, local, state, and federal, to educate citizens and business owners about this pandemic and encourage healthy behaviors. The science has been clear on the issue of dining in since the beginning of the pandemic. She quotes a link from the CDC. Due to the severe economic impact on businesses, the CDC has taken months to provide adequate guidance on this subject. She gives another link to the CDC. As we learn more about this virus and begin to acknowledge facts that are currently unpopular, we will have to make some really difficult decisions. We have already allowed this virus to spread at a rate that is going to prove to be disastrous in the coming months. We have the most deaths of any country in the world because of our inability to make decisions based on public health measures. I am not the one who needs to backtrack on this issue. Blue skies, comma, Nakaya.
So who is this doctor she's quoting?
Dr. Bonds from the Thomas Jefferson Health District.
Got it. You know, I don't know what to say to that other than, you know, again, she's one of five. This is her opinion, right? The local city council, based on what the governor has allowed each jurisdiction to do, each jurisdiction has the right to make it can go down. It can make more, it can go back to level 1 or level 2 or whatever level that is. So as long as they have the authority to do that, you know, she's acting, well, I like to believe in what she believes is the best interest.
Good faith. You would like to believe, yeah.
Oh,
right.
yeah. Good faith in it. I'm glad. Here's the positive I took out of this. I'm glad the mayor communicated with you.
Yeah.
I don't think her position changed, but at least she engaged. And what did I say earlier today? I wish she would engage more. So there you go. She's engaged. I would much prefer a face-to-face engagement. I'm not a big fan of email engagement, frankly. One can lose translations pretty easily in that, particularly from a guy who can't write well that good. But say there you go. Okay. But yeah, so I agree with one comment in there. You know, they're going to require two other votes in order to get something passed, right? So she is going to have to convince two other city council.
What she's going to try to do is Payne and McGill.
Yeah, well, that's...
I mean, Snook straight up said last night he was not going to do it.
I understand that. So now it's Lloyd Snook. This is the system we have, right? And this is how this works. So it is now Mr. Snook's job to convince two other people to go his way. That's how this works, right? And so he needs to figure out a way to engage. My daughter from Seattle's texting me. She's actually watching. She says, thank you.
I love it. I love it. Seattle, Washington watching the program. Nashville, Tennessee, folks outside Charlotte, Richmond, McLean, Arlington, and across Central Virginia.
So what Lloyd needs to do, and this goes back to everybody has different jobs, right? So, you know, if and when you get elected, and frankly, as a personal friend, I hope it never happens to you, and because in order to do that job right, it's 40 to 60 hours on top of whatever you do during the rest of the day.
Absolutely.
Rest of the week.
Yeah.
40 to 60 hours a week. That being said, the way Mayor Walker's mind needs to be changed is Lloyd or whoever is on the opposition. You ever see the movie 12 Angry Men?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
There you go. Started with one guy. Said, this ain't right. hour later, hour and a half later, it flipped the other way. And that's how this has to work. Lloyd, you, me, whoever feels opposite of that needs to engage and needs to say, hey, this is why I don't agree with you, Mayor Walker. It's nothing personal. I just don't agree with you, and this is why I don't agree with you, right? So I'm very excited, frankly, that she sent you that email, because that means she's engaging. And that was super frustrating to me. To be totally frank with you, when you sit at a planning district commission and she's looking at her iPad the whole 2+ hours of the meeting, it's flat out insulting. And I'm sorry, as somebody who puts a lot of energy and thought
but you bust your tail.
And to try to make a place a better place and communicate with people that don't necessarily think or say things exactly like I do, not to engage in a conversation is just flat out wrong. So it has nothing to do with anything other than it's just wrong.
How do you think fourth quarter is going to shake out? How do you think Q1 is going to shake out? Open-ended question, anywhere you want to go.
So we're talking real estate or
all the above.
Yeah, so it's real estate we talk about, right? Real estate.
You think it's good?
I think it's good. I think everything's going to stay stable. But I think what you're going to see, to be honest with you, and this was a comment I made to Lloyd, so I'll do it publicly. My only concern is the vacating of people from the city, businesses from the city, right? The data's not showing that, by the way, and we debunked that, and I don't think that's happening. Matter of fact, I know it's not happening.
You're talking businesses or people living?
Both.
Okay. So people living, I don't think, are vacating the city. People in the small and medium-sized business mindset are certainly considering.
So I think they're changing, right? So some are coming out, some are coming in, right? Just around the way over here, there was 2 commercial spaces on 4th Street across from the Pie Chest that went vacant. Now they have...
there's a fitness facility and a massage parlor.
Yeah. Well, it was a tattoo parlor, I believe.
Tattoo and massage parlor.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So...
from what I'm hearing, month-to-month leases on those.
Got it. So will they be successful or not? I don't know. But people are seeing opportunity. People are coming in. So, I don't, as one who went through the great real estate depression, you adapt and overcome. But yeah, I don't see the election. I'll tell you what I see affecting our market more than national stuff is local stuff. It's the stuff we're talking about right now. This is why I engage so much on the local side.
Talk to me about that.
Well, it's what's the saying? All politics are
what?
Local.
Yeah.
All politics are local, right?
I've learned so much about that.
And yeah, so at the end of the day, what the city council does or doesn't do affects your business because you're in the city of Charlottesville. What the city council does or doesn't do affects who lives in it.
How about this question for a real estate question?
Yeah.
What would you do? You're a creative thinker. You're a problem solver. Put out fires. You're innovative. You're entrepreneurial. You're street smart. You get along with people. You have the gift of human connection. You're a leader.
Thank you.
What do you do? Because you've seen it. I've seen it. You walk from the pavilion to the Omni.
Mm-hmm.
The vacancy rate
Yeah.
on the mall is pretty startling. Yeah. Is that safe? You certainly notice them.
I will tell you it was worse in 1987, 1988, and 1989.
Okay. So that was before my time. I've been here since 2000.
So my point I'm trying to make is
it can be recovered?
It's cyclical.
Okay.
It can
So
be recovered.
what does your entrepreneurial, innovative mind suggest? What do you do?
Well, I think...
Do we just play the waiting game? Is that what we have to do here?
Well, first of all, I don't think you have a choice.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, what other than... So you're more fortunate than most. Same here, right? Because of our life circumstances and so forth and so on. But you are because you got this.
Yeah.
You got those. By the way, comes with an awesome responsibility.
Absolutely.
Which I am learning.
I mean, you have virtually every media outlet in town watching us here.
I literally...
They're taking quotes from what you're saying on Zoom, in Skype, and virtual and turning them into newspaper articles.
I literally woke up at
That literally happened.
It did.
Yeah.
I'm used to being in. Okay, I was going to say a joke about being in the papers with handcuffs and.
He's joking, Instagram. He's joking, Facebook. Yonna, he's joking.
Maybe not. No.
Keith.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So it comes with this. I woke up at 2:30 this morning, like, what am I going?
Well, and explain why. We had a last second change.
Well, we had a last second.
Just leave it at that.
Yeah, we had a last second change with the guest, and I had to pivot a little bit, and my 3 days of prep just got thrown out the window.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I prepped for this morning, and we never covered anything other than trying to give a shout out for the Parade of Homes.
Right.
Of what I prepped to talk about today, and I guess the good news is I now prepped for Friday.
You got Friday's done, and we're an hour in, and we have ridiculous engagement.
Yeah, and you, I'm going to give a shout out to you and give a shout out to Judah. You told me this a year and a half, 2 years ago that this was going to happen, and I didn't believe you. And I'm wrong more often than I'm not. And,
that's definitely not true.
But when I am wrong, I admit it. And I was flat out.
Well, you know what I saw, and I saw a person who was well-connected, well-spoken.
I don't know about that.
A leader.
Don't know about that
civically involved.
That I am.
At the top of his game from a profession standpoint. Now, you're going to deflect it, but he is. So I just saw a lot of elements colliding. And you do well in a microphone setting. And now it's become the resource.
Well, I'm flattered, but I don't, for me to be speechless,
Ray says, I'm your last second guy anytime, Keith. I bet the three of us could fill plenty of time.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, I mean, just a great guy, just a great human being. I got to tell you, I don't think I've never met anybody that had a negative thing to say about Ray.
Wow, Ray Cadell. Get some love on the show today, RC.
Yeah, I don't think I ever did.
Get some love.
And if I did, I choose to ignore it.
And if you did, that person had no idea what they were talking about. Caitlin Mancini, welcome to the broadcast. We love when you watch. Iris Luck, hello, welcome to the broadcast. Marquise, this show and this network, the best educational, informative resource for our community. Wow. Thank you so much, guys.
Well, I'm just flattered. I just
that,
don't. Yeah, I just don't know what to say.
And I meant when I said you could come on the show anytime you want, dude. I mean that.
Charlottesville City Council, City Vision 2025, economic stability, Center of Lifelong Learning. These are high topics. Quality.
It's like a mission statement.
That's exactly what it is. Quality housing opportunities for all. That's my passion. CVille Arts and Culture, Green City, American Healthy City, a connected community, a community of mutual respect, smart citizen-focused government. That's all they need to follow. They got it, right? If I ask you to build a website for me, I'm going to give you couple of vision statements and get the hell out of your way.
And then we build the website.
Then you build the website.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. The client and the voters and the citizens want this.
Well,
give the client what the client wants.
Well, so the thing is that from an elected official's perspective, it's hard. They're getting pulled in different directions, and you have somebody like Jerry Miller or Keith Smith pulling Lloyd one way or Michael one way, right? Because we're passionate about X.
Yeah.
And then you have somebody else pulling that person in a different direction because they're passionate about minus X.
Or the complete opposite of X.
But I want to be clear, at the end of the day, they're not experts at this subject matter, right? They're really not. They come from these different worlds. They come from these different experiences, and they go in there. This is why my concern about the city of Charlottesville's city manager rotating seat is there's no institutional memory, right? When somebody, Lloyd's probably got the most institutional memory on it because he's been in that seat before.
Yeah.
He knows exactly how
And
this
he
works.
has the benefit of years.
He knows how this
Yeah.
works. He knows the basic process of it. But somebody like Michael, who's never sat in that seat before, doesn't know it. And people often ask, well, so-and-so said so-and-so and so-and-so on the campaign. And I've been doing this for 3 decades. As soon as they sit in that seat, it's amazing how they start thinking differently. It's not because they're intently doing that. It's because they have an oh shit moment. And they look at exactly what they have to do. And it becomes super complicated because it's very simple on the campaign trail as one who's ran for elected office before. But as soon as you sit in that seat, it becomes very different. And my hat's off to any elected official that sits in there because I know what it takes to get there. I know what it takes to have that conversation. But at the end of the day, they're reasonable thinking people. At the end of the day, they want to engage. I'm excited that Mayor Walker sent you an email. At least she's engaging with you. I hope she engages us more on a face-to-face conversation. But if Lloyd is pushing a direction one way and you believe in Lloyd's path, then support Lloyd. If you believe in Mayor Walker's path, then support. And that's what makes this country great. Right?
Yeah.
It's the reason I put a uniform on. It's the reason I wear hearing aids. It's the reason why I have friends that are not alive any longer. Right? Engage. Please do that. Do that for the memory of my friends.
Well said.
Engage.
Very well said.
I got chills when I said that.
That's why you shine on this show.
Engage.
This is Real Talk. It's presented by the Yes Team Realtors. Trusted advisors in the game. The Yes Team Realtors. Yonna, we have the smiley face
That's right.
clips coming home with the distinguished gentleman's pocket right there. Can we hold those up, the smiley face clips
so
right there? These are coming.
I don't know if you can see. I don't know if you can see them or not. Can you see them?
Okay, I think with that one you can. You'd have got a chuckle. Those are coming.
Yeah. So I was running out the door late, and I didn't get my normal paper clips, and I grabbed a 3 smiley face, a three smiley.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
A 3 smiley face
And you
clips.
got one instruction.
And then one instruction. That was it.
Bring those back.
They better come home with you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Keith, I enjoy it. Keith Smith, A-plus people, you see it. He will run through fire along with his beautiful 7/8s for his clients. He is honorable. He is a man of character, integrity. Oh, look, it's showing up on the feed. Did you see it?
I knew we were going to get a laugh in today. That was our first heartfelt laugh.
That was good. Liza's
So
cipher
for the
treats.
Instagram people, let me
Yeah,
see.
put
Here
it
we
on
go.
the feed. There we go.
There we go.
We have to bring those back. My friend, great show, per usual.
So good luck on your show today at noon.
Thank you.
Good luck. I'll be listening. Actually, I'll be on my bike.
Fantastic.
I'll be listening.
Getting 22 in?
No, only 15 today.
15?
Got a little patella tendonitis going on.
Where?
Patella's my knees.
Okay.
Patella.
There we go. I did not know that.
That's patella.
How's your knee? Does it need a cortisone?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Just need to be almost 60 instead of thinking I'm almost 20. So slow it down a little bit.
You're A-plus people, Keith Smith.
Oh man. Hopefully on Friday, what we're supposed to talk about today is why you should use a realtor in buying new construction. So all those real estate agents out there, I promise you we will get to that.
When are we going to wear our spandex and our costumes? Is it only going to be for one show or multiple shows?
I think after we do it once, we're either going to get arrested.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to ever
Or
want
blackmailed.
Nobody's ever. You might just go from top of your game to boom.
So I'm going to dress in spandex as Robin. He's going to dress in spandex as Batman. Cape and mask, I believe, I saw on the text you sent, are included, right?
Oh man, it's everything. We got utility belts.
Yeah, we have the cape, the
capes,
mask.
got the little booties.
We
got
all the booties, too.
Oh man, I went all out.
Very nice.
We're gonna. Matter of fact, I'll probably have to bring it in because we might have to do a little bit of nip and tuck, at least on mine anyway.
That's terrifying. Before this, so that means you need to let me know because we may need to get here 2025 early to get into costume.
We're gonna have to get into costumes because
Yeah.
I'm not walking down the mall.
Oh, I would pay to see you do that. You walk from
how
the
much?
garage.
Whoa! Time out. How much?
Oh, I forgot who I was talking to. Always be closing over
How
here.
much? No. You threw that out.
Okay, so you're saying you would walk from the pavilion?
I'll tell you what. I will walk from the. I'll tell you what. I will walk from the parking garage.
Neil,
No.
put a Batman GIF. I never know what that acronym. A Batman GIF.
Well, Neil's going to like this.
In the
Like
street.
this.
GIF.
You think about between now and Friday. I will walk from the parking garage where I park my car to here. What Friday is? What day is the 30th?
I think the 31st is Yonna says
Saturday.
Keith, Yonna says no comment. She just added to the street.
This
It's
is
Saturday, so Friday the 30th would make a fun Friday in costume.
Got it.
I might take it a step further and say, what if you put on the Batman costume and walked into City Council
No,
City Hall and go said hi to John Blair and said hi to Chief Brackney and the counselors.
No, I will end up in the loony bin in a heartbeat. Oh, that's probably not politically
I'd pay for
correct.
that.
I know you pay for that.
And then we get Judah to follow you with a camera.
Yeah. So where I was going with this before you went off the
Tim says, I got 20.
so
Tim just says, I got 20
no
for Smith to do it.
it's like talking to my wife. You interrupt me all the time.
Sorry.
Yonna, I love you. So I will wear the Batman suit from the parking garage to MarieBette to get my normal walk.
Marcus Johnson, Fun Friday. Do it, Keith, do it.
I am. But here's the deal, everybody. Right? I'm not going to do it for nothing. Right? So I will walk from there to MarieBette to get my cup of coffee to the show on nothing in my Batman outfit. But you need to donate money.
That's what I was just going to say. The chemistry's working. So what we do is maybe a gateway link for the social equity game that the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust has. And you know how you can go Team Franklin, Team Nassau, whatever it may be? You get...
So the funny thing is she didn't put me on the team.
She didn't put you on the team? You're
No.
the damn chairman.
I'm the chairman,
You
yeah.
didn't get on the team?
I got to watch everybody else.
Okay. You want to be on a team.
I'm going to be on Team Me.
You want to team me.
We'll be on Team Batman and Robin.
We should have a gateway link. We will do this show in span, although we just told them we were going to do it. But we will do the show.
No, they have to donate.
They have to donate.
They have to donate.
To the Thomas Jefferson Community Land Trust. And then we will then go in Batman, in Robin, in Alfred. And is Liza going to be Bat Dog?
We'll see.
All right, Liza. And then the four of us then have to go in costume to City Hall.
Dude, I was just okay with coming
To
from
City Hall with camera. Judah says he's in.
Are you really in?
Sure. All I gotta do is wear a suit.
Neil says this would be hilarious.
Well, what I was trying to do was either you could do the land trust or donate to Neil, but you got to donate something to somebody.
Iris Luck, if Keith does it and carries a bag walking down the mall, I bet businesses will give that man treats.
Man,
What have we
why
started?
couldn't we have ended the show at 11:15?
You'd end up in 5 East, and I'll raise dollars for the land trust. You got to visit my friends at the Haven as well, Keith.
Okay, let's do it. All right, so all right, we're gonna
figure it out. We'll flush out the idea.
We're gonna flush this out
Yeah.
and do it on Friday.
Oh
but
boy, Yonna Smith. Oh boy. Oh boy.
But she doesn't know I bought her a Catwoman suit. So.
A parade to City Hall. Yes, Keith, yes, from Ray Cadell. Ray, we may even be able to persuade to join us and play his horn.
More the merrier. I need,
So, Ray, how about this idea? This is really taking on its life of its own.
Thank you.
Batman in a spandex, utility belt, booties, mask, and spandex that accentuates his pectoral muscles.
What?
I mean, can we show your pectoral muscles here?
Do I have? I don't think I have those.
You do have pectoral muscles.
I got patellas. I know that much.
Tell us. I will be Robin. Ray Cadell says Yonna should be Catwoman. We have Alfred over here, and Liza's in costume. Ray's going to be following us down the mall playing his horn. You see all these people right here?
I'm trying to find.
I think you're freezing the stream over there, Keith.
Oh, am I really?
You're
Sorry,
freezing
sorry,
the
sorry
stream
about that,
on
buddy.
Instagram.
Sorry.
That's why your head is frozen right here.
Sorry about that.
There we go.
What I'm trying to do is find the picture I sent you of the costumes.
Big Ray doesn't do spandex, and it's good for everybody.
No shit. Sorry, Ray, but yeah.
But you can play the horn, Big Ray. You can play the horn. I think we're on to something. Irish Luck says
what
this is hilarious.
What is the Batman?
Yeah, Marquise goes, hey, easy, easy.
said that?
Marquise Johnson.
She's in Richmond, right?
He
sorry.
is in Charlottesville.
Charlottesville.
He's a board member for the Haven. He's
There you
good
go.
people. Ray is playing the trumpet, not a horn. That's from Yonna.
Oh, it is a horn, isn't it?
Is the trumpet's a horn, I believe.
Yeah.
Ray, the trumpet's a horn, right?
What you
I
can
always
do
said a
is,
dumb question. I think the trumpet's a horn.
Alfred, there's a
Ray's agreed to dress up as the penguin.
who?
Ray Cadell.
Oh,
Dude, he would be the penguin. You Batman, me Robin, he's Alfred, Yonna's Catwoman, Liza in some kind of costume, and Ray playing a horn dressed up as the penguin. And we go into City Hall.
So who's buying the Batmobile? Oh, that's a cool car, though.
Who has the Batmobile?
That was a cool car.
I mean, Joffrey across the street's got a Tesla.
No,
We can ask to borrow Joffrey's Tesla.
no, that's not even close to being cool.
I mean, who's got a Batmobile?
No, I mean, it was the original version was a 1966, I think, Lincoln that they cut up into a gazillion different pieces. It was pretty. They actually made that thing. All right, well, so we want to raise money.
Yeah, we got to
for the
figure out how
land
this
trust.
actually could be a possibility
Right.
here.
Absolutely, let's do it. I'm
Yeah.
in. Let's raise it up for the land
What should you do
trust.
for the land trust?
And also, I mean, if you're not comfortable with the land trust, send it out to Neil. Neil could definitely use it.
Yeah, I think it's very good. All right, so this is Real Talk, guys. We have fun. We talk real stuff.
And,
It's just real stuff.
and maybe some.
and maybe even some sketchy costume stuff too.
I'm about to say scary shit,
Some
man.
scary stuff. But
But that was good, Penguin. I like
yeah,
it.
he would be a phenomenal penguin. Would he not?
Yeah, but Ray's a good guy. We can't make Ray a bad guy.
I mean, George Barris did the car, evidently.
Excuse me.
George Barris did the Bat car.
There you go.
All right, so this is Real Talk. It's an insider's guide to real estate life in the pursuit of happiness. Judah, Keith, Jerry, thank you for joining us. The Yes Team Realtors, the Yes Team Realtors, the Yes Team Realtors.
We will talk real estate. I swear.
Real estate, pray to Homes on Friday.
Please, we need to talk about
Yeah,
that.
I mean, it was phenomenal.
Great
we
stuff.
did it this past weekend. It was phenomenal.
And why you really need to engage a realtor in new construction. It's important stuff. So we'll talk about it on Friday.
I love it. Hey, came in here saying, let's go with the flow, and it's 11:34.
Who knew?
Who knew? Chemistry. Judah,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you, guys.
You guys have a good one. Take care. Nicely done.